I find his lack of balance disturbing.
It's all that data, bro. With SLT mega deals, he's got double data for the next 2 months.
Making headlines on First at 9. Northern Development. More land in the northern province to be released. Commending efforts. MP Sumandaran hails Army and Navy efforts to rescue scores affected in northern Sri Lanka. Oppose separatism. Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa calls for efforts beyond the constitution to protect Buddhism and promote harmony. Immediate probe. Court order issued to investigate elevator collapse at a nightclub. Another defeat. Sri Lanka fails to deliver yet again as New Zealand wins by a massive 423 runs.
මේ උත්සව සමයේ ස්මාර්ට් ඇන්ඩ්‍රොයිඩ් තාක්ෂණයෙන් එන සිංගර් විස්ටා TV එකක් මිලදී ගන්නා ඔබට හිත පිරෙන්න වාසි රැසක් ඕනෑම සිංගර් ප්‍රදර්ශනාගාරයකින්.
A very good evening and welcome to First at 9, another Derana 24/7 Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. The Department of Meteorology says that the torrential downpour that wreaked havoc in the northern part of the island is gradually receding. According to the Disaster Management Centre, however, 3,708 affected persons are still sheltered in temporary camps. In order to do our part in ensuring their well-being, relief and donated by generous members of the public through the Manusaddaran initiative were distributed in the affected areas today as well.
The condition of the northern province normalizing right now. So the numbers of affected people recorded more than 125,000 in this week period. The evacuated number been decreased up to 3,600 in 13 evacuation centers. They have been supplied all the relief and the measures been taken to fulfill all the relief requirements by the Ministry of Disaster Management. 500 houses been notified as fully damaged houses and more than 4,600 houses been notified as partially damaged houses. They will be assessed and after the assessment all the compensations would be given to the particular affected families. The Ministry of Disaster Management continuously funding to district secretaries as per their requirement. Post-disaster management activities are carried out by the military and the police, the supervision of the district secretaries and the disaster management officers at the ground level.
With torrential rains gradually receding, people who were affected by floods in the northern province are still being sheltered in 13 displacement camps. Meanwhile, personnel from the Tri-Forces came together to clean out water wells to ensure drinking water is made available to those affected. Deputy Minister Palitha Tevara Peruma was also seen lending a helping hand. The lorries containing relief aid donated by the general public through the Manusaddaran initiative reached Kilinochchi this morning. The donations were distributed among the affected people in the districts of Kilinochchi and Mullaitivu at the Pannikadi Mahavidyalaya in Kilinochchi.
Back in the day, these roads did not flood, but look at them now. Water comes straight into our houses. Ask them to redo the road. Convey this message to the President and ask them to pay a visit. No one comes here.
The army helped us enormously. They provided us with food and drinking water. We would also like to thank Manusaddaran for helping us.
I thank all fellow citizens in the south for lending us a helping hand.
Disregarding claims that the disaster in the north was ignored, TNA parliamentarian M. Sumandaran says that swift measures were taken to expedite necessary relief aid to people in the north. Speaking to journalists in Jaffna yesterday, he also went on to say that the English translation of the constitution should be referred to as the primary document as it is the source language.
When the floods battered the north, the government acted immediately. The Navy and the Army personnel used their skills to rescue thousands with the help of boats and ropes. It is remarkable that no deaths were reported except for one. Therefore, I disagree with claims which state that the government did not act immediately.
Meanwhile, responding to journalists on the recent court verdict over the president's decision to dissolve parliament, he went on to say that the English translation of the constitution should be referred to as the primary document.
If you refer to the verdict given by the court, they said that there is no difference in the Sinhala and English translations of the constitution. In my arguments, I pointed out that if we refer to the Sinhala translation, then the Tamil one should also be referred to, as there is a constitution in Tamil as well. Certain acts say that the singular copy should be referred to when and if the content is in contradiction with each other. However, there is no mention of this in the Constitution. My argument was that the English copy of the Constitution should be referred to as it is drafted in English. I provided examples stating that in the 12th article it says all persons shall be equal before the law and are entitled to equal protection from the law. This is not confined merely to the Constitution, but in all fundamental rights documents around the world. In fact, these particular clauses were taken from these documents. If you read the 12th article in the Sinhala copy, it contradicts the English translation of the Constitution. I discovered this during the case. For the past 40 years, the Supreme Court has been referring to the English copy of the Constitution when delivering their verdict. I questioned as to why do they only refer to the English translation and not the Sinhala and Tamil copies of the Constitution. This is because English is the source language. This is where the drafts take their form from.
The Sri Lanka Army is set to release further lands to civilians, almost 1,100 acres, which it had been using for farming purposes in the northern province. Releasing a statement, the army said that the President Maithripala Sirisena directed the army to release state land being used for farms by the army in the northern and eastern provinces while ensuring that it bears no impact to the national security. Accordingly, 1,099 acres of state land in the northern province will be released in the second week of January, in addition to the ongoing process of releasing private and state land in the north and east. The army also said that documents pertaining to the release of these lands will be formally delivered to district secretaries of Kilinochchi, Mullaitivu and Mana. Leader of the Upcountry People's Front, MP Velusamy Radhakrishnan, voiced disappointment over the failure of the Prime Minister to deliver him the promised cabinet ministerial position. He made this remark addressing at a media briefing held in Hatton this morning.
During the recent days, we gave our fullest support to the United National Party. At that time, I was promised to be offered with a ministerial position and a deputy ministerial post to Aravinda Kumara. I was out of the country when the cabinet was sworn in. When I arrived in the country, the Prime Minister offered me a non-cabinet ministerial position due to the cabinet being limited to 30. We are here because we were elected by the people. We will work for the United National Party even in the future. But I'm disappointed as to why I'm being treated this way.
Leader of the opposition, Mahinda Rajapaksa, says all attempts made to divide the country should be opposed by the entire nation. Speaking at a religious event in Nochiagama yesterday, the opposition leader went on to say that priority given to Buddhism within the constitution not be confined to a mere paper.
A ceremony was held to welcome the chief incumbent of the Nochiagama Buddhist Centre, Venerable Lindavave Anuruddha Thera, following his appointment as the Deputy Chief Sangha of the North Central Division last evening. Leader of the opposition, Mahinda Rajapaksa, also participated in the ceremony.
රටක් වශයෙන් ජාතියක් වශයෙන් එකට මේ රට තියාගන්න ජාතිය තියාගන්න. අපි යනගෙන සටන් කරලා දිනා ගන්න බැරි වෙච්ච දේ ව්‍යවස්ථාවකින් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ වැඩි ඡන්ද සංඛ්‍යාවක් පෙන්වන්න සහයෝගය ලබා දීමෙන් දිනා ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතනවා නම් මම හිතන්නේ ඒ ලබා දෙන්න බැඳීමක් තියෙනවද කියන එක අපේ ප්‍රශ්නය. දැන් තිරුකුණාමලේ වරාය පුල්ලා අමුදා වඳුරු දාන්න පිටරට ලබා දෙන්න වැඩ පිළිවෙල සකස් කරගමින් තිරුකුණාමලේ ඉඳලා මන්නාරම දක්වා ලේන් අටක පාරක් හඳන්නේ ඇයි කියලා හදන්න මේ දෙපැත්තට කඩලා වෙන් කරන්න යෝජනා තියෙනවා කියලා අපිට දැනගන්න තියෙනවා. මේ රට ඔබේ මේ රට කෑලි වලට කඩලා වෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නෑ. ඒ සියලුම ජාතීන් විරුද්ධ විය යුතු කියලායි මා විශ්වාස කරනවා.
The cause behind the malfunction of an elevator at a prominent nightclub in Colombo, which claimed the life of a youth, remains a mystery, with many questions still remain unanswered. Speaking to media today on the tragic incident, police media spokesperson SP Gunasekara says that expertise of an engineer from the State Engineering Corporation will be sought after to ascertain the cause of the incident. The police media spokesperson further stated that investigations are being carried out in line with the court order.
Body of 25-year-old Ragarite Kokila Samandapiruma, whose life was claimed by the elevator mishap, was brought to his residence in Talangama last night. Kokila's life was taken away when he attempted to jump out of the elevator while it was free-falling but was caught in between the gap of the wall, resulting in his death. Preliminary investigations revealed that the lift was making its way up to the nightclub when the malfunction occurred. Police were seen inspecting the site where the accident occurred today as well.
මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ විදුලි සෝපානයේ නඩත්තු කරන පෞද්ගලික ආයතනය
We have taken measures to record a statement from the private company that services these elevators. An order was given by the court to seek expertise of an engineer from the State Engineering Corporation to ascertain how the elevator malfunctioned. If the death resulted owing to the negligence of a party, the IGP issued orders to take strict legal measures against those who are responsible.
දැන් නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න කියලා පොලිස්පතිතුමා උපදෙස් ලබා දීලා තිබෙනවා.
Close to 168,000 students have qualified to gain state university entrance based on results of the GCE Advanced Level Examination this year. Official figures released by the Department of Examinations place the total number of students who did not qualify for university entry this time around at 153,562, among which are 119 applicants whose results were suspended owing to various irregularities and malpractices.
GCE Advanced Level Examination 2018 commenced on the 6th of August and ended on the 1st of September, with 321,469 candidates sitting for the examination across 2,268 centres island-wide. The Department of Examinations released the results of the examination last night, placing the number of students who qualified for the university entrance at 167,907. Commissioner General of Examinations Sanat Pujitha said that the results of 119 students had to be suspended owing to various irregularities which occurred during the examination. He added that the window for re-evaluation of answers closes on the 16th of January next year, and applicants who wish to apply for the service should submit their applications before then. The Department of Examinations also announces that any inquiries pertaining to examination results can be made by contacting telephone numbers 011-278-4208 or 011-278-4537 as well as the department hotline 1911. Meanwhile, Kalani Samudra Rajapaksa of Ratnavali Balika Vidyalaya Gampaha topped the island ranking in the stream of biology, while Kasun Induranga Vikramaratna of Maliyadeva College in Kurunegala is ranked first in the commerce stream. Chatuni Hansini Vijayagunawardhana of Colombo Visakha Vidyalaya became the all-island first in physical science, and Yasaspati Ratna of Colombo Anand College topped the island ranking in engineering technology. Senadi Damya Dialvis of Lyceum International School in Panadura meanwhile came first in art stream, while Sanduni Priyamasha Kodipili of Narandaniya Central College topped the list in the stream of biotechnology.
Let's now take a look on some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
A fire completely gutted a retail shop located behind the bus station in the town of Talawakele early this morning. Police say that casualties are not reported from the incident. The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained and further investigations are being conducted by the Talawakele police. Ambalanguda police discovered 2 live hand grenades along the Uswala coastline in Ambalanguda. The police who acted on a tip-off said that 2 grenades had washed ashore this morning and they were identified as type SFG-87 hand grenades. They added that Balapitiya Magistrates Court will be informed of the matter tomorrow for further investigations. 4 faculties of the Rajarata University, Management Studies, Social Science and Humanities, Applied Science and Technology are closed until further notice. The university administration took the decision after a group of students forcibly entered the administration building, demanding the annulment of a class suspension imposed on some students. Students who forcibly occupy the building say that they will not vacate the premises until their demand is met. A private bus conductor along the Badulla-Colombo route was hospitalized after he was assaulted by employees of another private bus plying the same route recently. The assault was recorded on CCTV installed inside the bus, and the Alla police arrested 4 suspects today. Investigations are underway in search of other suspects.
With that, let's cross over to a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. On business news, the Asia-Pacific Trade and Investment Report 2018, which was issued recently, highlighted Sri Lanka's performance for 2017. It noted that Sri Lanka experienced an increase in FDI inflows by 53.3% in 2017, with annual growth of FDI inflows of 9.2% from 2012 to 2017.
The Asia-Pacific Trade and Investment Report 2018 noted that Sri Lanka has a trade to GDP ratio of 52.82%. Merchandise trade accounted for 69.9% of Sri Lanka's total trade in 2017. Sri Lanka's merchandise exports grew by 4.2% on average during 2012 to 2017, higher than the Asia-Pacific average of 0% during the same time period. In 2017, Sri Lanka's merchandise exports grew by 9.9%, while in the Asia-Pacific region increased by 11.5% in the same year. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's merchandise imports increased by 1.7% on average during 2012 to 2017 and recorded an increase of 8.7% between 2016 and 2017. In services trade in 2017, Sri Lanka's commercial services shares of total exports and imports were 39.5% and 23.7% respectively. Commercial services exports grew by 19.2% on average during 2012 to 2017, higher than the Asia-Pacific average of 3.2% during the same period. Sri Lanka recorded an average annual FDI inflows growth of 9.2% from 2012 to 2017, larger than the Asia and the Pacific 2.9% average annual FDI inflow growth. At the same time, Sri Lanka experienced an increase in FDI inflows by 53.3% in 2017. In terms of FDI outflows, Sri Lanka had an average annual FDI outflows growth of 2.4% in the last 5 years, smaller than the Asia and the Pacific's 3.5% average annual FDI outflow growth. In 2017, Sri Lanka experienced a decline in FDI outflows by 69.8%. In 2017, the largest trade partner of Sri Lanka was India, representing 6.8% of its exports and 21.1% of its imports. 3.7% of Sri Lanka's exports and 19.6% of Sri Lanka's imports by value were traded with China, its second largest trade partner. Other significant trade partners were United States, United Arab Emirates, Singapore, United Kingdom, Japan, Germany, Italy and Malaysia. The report further states that the largest product category exported by Sri Lanka in 2017 was tea, with an export share of 12.9% of total exports. Of tariffs, the report noted that in 2017, average MFN applied and effectively applied tariffs in Sri Lanka were 8.29% and 7.91%, respectively, higher than the average for the Asia-Pacific economies of 7.46% and 6.91%, respectively.
China has said it is ready to work with the US, suggesting progress in trade talks between the two countries. It said it would be willing to work with the US to implement the important consensus reached at December's G20 summit. At the Buenos Aires summit, the two countries agreed to suspend new trade tariffs for 90 days to allow for talks. China's statement comes after US President Donald Trump tweeted big progress was being made in relations after a call with Chinese President Xi Jinping. In a tweet yesterday, the US President said, quote, talks were moving along very well, unquote, following which China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lu Kang in a statement appeared to confirm President Trump's optimism. Lu said China stands ready to work with the US to implement the important consensus reached by President Xi Jinping and President Trump in Argentina, expand cooperation on the basis of mutual benefit, manage differences on the basis of mutual respect. Prior to the G20 meeting in Argentina, the US had warned it was considering 25% tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese goods, more than double the 10% initially planned. The White House says the tariffs are a response to China's unfair trade policies, which Trump blames for helping to create a huge trade deficit. Analysts expect market activity levels to improve as market participants are expected to be more active at the start of the new year. The all-share price index gained 0.16% for the week, while the S&P 20 increased 0.23% for the week. We now have Hiruni Pereira from First Capital Holdings with the market forecast.
We expect market activity levels to improve compared to previous week as the market participants are expected to be more active with the upcoming new year. However, we expect some foreign activity to continue while buying interest to be centered on undervalued blue chip counters.
People in the Democratic Republic of Congo are voting for a new president in an election delayed for more than 2 years. Over 40 million people are eligible to vote for a successor to President Joseph Kabila in power since 2001. But the run-up has been hit by violence and controversy over the decision to exclude some 126 million from voting. The police is expected to bring the country's first peaceful transfer of power since independence in 1960. Polling stations in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's long-delayed election have opened 2 years after they were first scheduled to be held. There were small queues of voters in the capital Kinshasa as voting centers opened because of heavy rain. More than 46 million Congolese have registered to elect the successor to President Joseph Kabila, who has ruled the Central African country for 17 years. As many as 21 candidates are competing to succeed Kabila, who came to power following the assassination of his father in 2001. The outgoing president, his chosen successor Emmanuel Ramazani Shadari, and leading opposition candidate Martin Fayulu all cast their ballots in the same polling station in Kinshasa. In Kinshasa, home to 4 million voters, 20% of the polling stations did not open due to lack of electronic voting machines. Earlier this month, one of the Electoral Commission's main warehouses in the city was burned down, destroying more than 2/3 of the voting machines allocated for the city. Today's vote marks the first time electronic voting systems are being used, and some opposition figures and international observers have expressed concerns, saying the machines are more vulnerable to vote rigging than traditional ballots. The Electoral Commission said official results of the presidential poll will be announced on January 15. A cyber attack caused major printing and delivery disruptions yesterday at the Los Angeles Times and other major U.S. newspapers, including ones owned by Tribune Publishing, such as the Chicago Tribune and Baltimore Sun. Citing a source with knowledge of the situation, the Los Angeles Times reported the cyber attack appeared to originate outside the United States. The attack led to distribution delays in the yesterday edition of the Times, Tribune, Sun and other newspapers that share a production platform in Los Angeles. Tribune Publishing, whose newspapers also include the New York Daily News and Orlando Sentinel, said it first detected the malware on Friday. According to the Los Angeles Times, the West Coast editions of the Wall Street Journal and New York Times were hit as they are also printed on the shared production platform. Tribune Publishing spokeswoman Marissa Collier said the virus hurt back-office systems used to publish and produce newspapers across its properties. The Wall Street Journal and New York Times did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Most San Diego Union Tribune subscribers were without a newspaper on Saturday as the virus infected the company's business systems and hobbled its ability to publish. A spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security said it was studying the situation. Senior Brexiteer Minister Liam Fox says there is a 50-50 chance the UK will not leave the EU on 29th of March if MPs reject Theresa May's Brexit deal next month. The International Trade Secretary told the Sunday Times it would only be 100% certain if MPs back the deal. He said if the deal is rejected, that would shatter the bond of trust between the electorate and Parliament. MPs are due to vote on the withdrawal agreement in January, with the UK scheduled to leave the EU on the 29th of March. The agreement negotiated by May with the EU, which sets the term of the UK's exit and a declaration on future relations, will only come into force within a majority backing in Parliament. The Commons vote was due to be held on 11th of December, but the UK Prime Minister postponed it once it became clear it would be defeated by a large margin. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn this week urged May to cut short MPs' Christmas break. They are due back on the Commons on 7th of January to allow for an earlier vote. We have sports news on the other side. Stay tuned.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Moving on to your weather forecast for tomorrow, mainly fair and dry weather are expected over most parts of the island. Light showers, however, may occur in the eastern province as well as in the districts of Badulla and Matale. Fairly strong gusty winds of up to 40 km per hour can be expected over central, northwestern, northern and Ua provinces and in the district of Hambantota. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in Sabaragamu and east western provinces during the morning hours. Up next is your City by City forecast. And with that, we conclude this edition of First at 9 for tonight. But before we go, we would like to leave you with visuals of the annual procession of Sri Sumanarama Vihara Temple, which was lit up in the streets of Kosgama last night. We hope you enjoy these visuals and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.